I'll be really honest. When I first opened my business, I used to think, I've got all this experience as a sales director, people will work with me. But the truth is, people only work with you if they can connect with you on the results that you've achieved for others. And the only thing that matters is results. Because when I started my business 3 years ago, I was highly experienced getting sales teams to perform as a sales director, but I did not have results for high ticket businesses or online businesses in general. And that's been the main focus over the last 3 years. So today I want to use one client as an example on how we got helped this client hit 184,000 in monthly revenue by building a scalable sales team. And we're going to show you how I did it step by step. So you can actually copy it and do it for yourself. I'm going to give you all the gems that we did, what we did from start to finish. Let me tell you about the client. Marianne owns a business in Finland and she provides high ticket coaching. She helps people build amazing offers. She actually has an amazing offer. She has an amazing business. She's a great entrepreneur. So I'm not one of those people who's like, yes, we did all of this stuff. This was all us. No, we did all the sales team activity. We know how to structure the sales team, how it should be built. And that's exactly what we did for her. So the challenge her business had when we first met Marianne was it was experiencing the classic plateau. Most seven-figure businesses have it. They have a great offer. They've already got a lot of clients or they've serviced a lot of clients in the past. But the sales team can get stuck. They can get stuck in a rut. The CEO is still managing them, spending all the time leading the team and is not pulled out. And it doesn't really allow the CEO to go all in on content or go all in on building the business or write their favorite book or do all the things that they want to do. They're stuck in the business because sales team require a lot of money. Now, you might be someone who thinks it's only a morning meeting. It's only a QC of calls. To develop a sales team to the right standard, you have to be able to truly sit down with every rep multiple times a week, coach them, be active in the channel, look at the sales calls as they happen, review sales calls live. If you want to be a good sales leader, and if you don't have a sales manager in your business, you are the sales manager if you're the CEO. These are the things that were the clear issues. Low sales team accountability, no clear tracking systems in place. Over-reliant on the founder to close deals. Poor performance from part-time closers. And lack of leadership structure within the sales team. So the CEO could be really good, could really have high business acumen. It could be someone who's really competent. But without the structure of the sales team, without knowing how to run it, without knowing how to manage the people, without hiring backup in case a salesperson doesn't perform, having a backup recruitment system built into your business. If you don't have all those things, it's very hard to build a sales team that doesn't need you. Otherwise, you're babysitting all the time. Imagine how it feels for you if you just go on holiday and you see $30,000 hit your bank account and you've done nothing to make that sale. You built a system and now the system crushes deals for you. And that's what we do. And it's a pattern that we see all the time for businesses between 1 and 5 million. I've put it in euros for this one because this client is in Finland in euros, but it could be dollars or pounds, whichever one's relevant to you. We work with businesses from the US all the way to Australia, so we're across the world. We're global out here. The transformation that this business took when we implemented our sales system, we focused on the core pillars of structure, performance management, leadership, and development. And here's the specifics what we did together. We built and trained a new internal sales team that dedicated closers and setters. How did we do this? First, we didn't just go and hire a sales closer like most people would be like, I just need another closer. What we did was we built a recruitment system where if the closer doesn't perform, there's a backup ready. And every time a closer starts, there's an onboarding system built into the business which has clear SOPs that anyone in the business can carry it out. And when that sales rep does start with the business or the setter, they know exactly what they're doing for the entirety of the first month. We created custom dashboards and tracking leads, reviewing calls, and measuring performance metrics. Now, if you're managing a sales team, you've got to go off two things. How the reps are feeling and what the data tells you. And those two things are commonly correlated. But at times, the sales team won't tell you the full story. They'll tell you the leads are poor quality. Your cost of acquisition goes up. The lead quality looks fine. The type forms, the questions are the same. This is because the sales team's heart's not in it. They're not treating the leads how they should be treating the leads, but they complain. And most CEOs don't know how to handle it, and they'll think, oh, it's something with my marketing. It's not. The sales team is just not closing. But what allows us to figure this out is having really good tracking, having really good review systems in place. So what we do is we have dashboards and we have trackings in place for ads, setters, and closers. We look across from the leads that have come in, all the way to the traffic that was generated before that, all the way to the sales that were closed, and then we QC and listen to the calls. It's very easy to work out what the issue is. Did the rep not try? Should they have tried harder? Was it that the sales rep was not objection handling the right way? Was it the setter not calling the leads efficiently? Because they have their own KPIs, how many dials they should be making, how many messages they should be sending every day. So what was the issue on that? So this is the next thing that we implemented. We hired and onboarded and ramped up a full-time sales manager to take the pressure off Marianne. What we actually did in this scenario, because we do train and help place a lot of sales managers, what we actually did was Marianne had a really good ops manager who showed great signs of leadership. So we started upskilling this ops manager into overseeing the sales team. Then this ops manager started leading the sales team. In some scenarios, we would just get you a sales manager. We would help you hire that person, put them into your business, or you would already have someone and they're not at the right skill set. We can upskill them because we run a leadership program for sales managers specifically. And the types of people that take that leadership program is either CEOs or sales managers, or even some sales directors we've added in recently as well. And it's all the insights of sales management that I learned over 10 years of sales directing and sales managing teams from every industry, from leisure, high ticket, from brick and mortar businesses, from my own businesses. And now we work with across probably 70 different industries. So we know how the behavior should be for a sales manager, and what they should be looking at, what they should be measuring, how they should be running their entire day. And most sales managers don't know, and most CEOs don't know how to manage a sales manager because they're the expert. So they don't know how to hold them accountable. We audited and optimized the sales pipeline to increase velocity and quantity. So we wanted to get more deals and better quality deals over the line. And what we did was we looked at the sales pipeline, how the leads move across it, and we made tweaks. An example of a tweak that we made here was it could be qualification questions. It could even be as small as when a deal moves across to another stage, it feeds the data back to Hyros, and then it can learn more intelligently what types of leads are the right leads. There's so many different ways that we can implement an auditing process and actually increase the quality and total amount of sales that are coming through. We implemented commission structures, sales contests, and goal-based incentives. What this looks like was most people do this thing in online sales, which is, 10% cash collected, 3% for the setter, 10% for the closer. But they don't look at the nuance of the business. And what happens is, if you're running that model and you have low margins already, your margins can get eaten up very quick. Before you know it, you're running at 20% margins and you could have just had a shop rather than an online business. The whole reason why you open an online business is to have better margins. So we truly look at commission structures on how much we can give away and link it to pricing, and then also work out what would be the P&L effect on this commission structure, because most people don't consider this. We added a sales contest. We built leaderboards and dashboards to be able to drive performance, to create that competitive spirit. Then we trained the entire sales reps and setters teams separately. And once we had trained them, we got them in a way where they were naturally very competitive. They were chasing and trying to beat each other. And we created that competitive spirit between them. And I personally coached Marianne on managing underperformance and stepping into true sales leadership. So before she brought on a sales manager, it was me working with her initially. I spent a lot of time with Marianne. She was already a really good leader. She had good insight. She was hungry. She was humble. She had good humility. She has no ego. She's driven. So she's the right character trait that we want. And then she was able to implement those tactics very easily. We provided frameworks on replacing underperformers very quickly and ethically. For example, in Finland, there's different labor laws that you have in place. So we had to also learn those laws to make sure we do everything the right way. I'm not one of those salespeople or sales managers or sales leaders who will just sack someone all of a sudden. What we actually do is we go through a disciplinary process, performance development plan, and make sure we do things the right way. And what made this work, it wasn't just a tactical implementation, it was the weekly strategic calls where we addressed real-time challenges and adjust our approach based upon data. Every week, something new was happening. Show rate went up, close rate went down, a rep was sick, and we would adjust things very fast. So it was a lot of processes and hand-holding to make sure we get the result that we need to, which ended up being some big wins, which was £184,000 in a single month. We added a new back-end sale for 16K and sold multiple of them as soon as they came in. We generated 40K in revenue in 2 days, which we had a mega 2 days, and that I think the 16K was involved in that as well. We created and validated a premium offer that consistently closes. This is the main thing that affected the revenue growth specifically. But the sales team's performance, it came from hiring and onboarding successful setters and closers with a system. We have a gamified system that we implement into a business, which is within our ARC system that we put into a business. If it's something that you want to see, drop a comment below and say, show me the ARC system, and we can do that for you. We increase the close rates and across the board with one-on-one coaching and group coaching for the sales team. So we train the sales team together and individually. We reduced dependency on Marianne, moved her away from sales. We implemented a mid-ticket downsell strategy to monetize leads that were not ready to buy the premium tier. It was very clear that there was some pricing issues. Remember, we look at the business regionally as well, on a country geographically. Is there opportunity to actually sell it a bit cheaper? And there was. And that also was another feather in the bow that we could add in, because we can add in a lower mid-ticket product because we knew the customers wanted it. Marianne's words specifically, you've made the biggest impact in my business in the last 2 years. I finally feel like we are growing again. We've already hit over 180,000 this month, and the sales team is becoming a machine. Usman's sales trainers are gold. That's very nice of her. This is Marianne's words. Some other things that she said that were really kind of her to say. I feel like a new stage of growing is happening right now. 46,000 in revenue this week, coming from new, not even productized yet. 16K offer. It's awesome. Everything, like we've closed 2 PIFs deals this week, 88K revenue for this month. That was like midway through the month. Incredible. So you can see how the performance was tracking there as well. And now, why does this matter? All of this stuff. Why does this matter that you need to actually know this? It matters because if you want to build a sales team from scratch, if you want to build a high-performing sales team, you're going to need to have a system. You need to have a system that doesn't rely on you. It can't rely on you to perform. It has to be able to perform without your input. And to do that, you need tracking, systems and training and SOPs, all plugged in, everyone trained with a system. And that's the system that we build. If you're interested in working with us, see the link below, see the link in the description, and you can click a link, book a call with myself or my team. If it's something that you might be having a bottleneck with your team specifically, maybe you're at 50K a month, maybe you're at 500K a month, maybe you're at 5 million a month. Come and learn about what we do and how we can help your sales team. I'll catch you in the next video.